Well, hello everybody. Welcome to yet another stream. But tonight we are not going to paint. We maybe do that tomorrow. So I last second basically decided to live stream this because today I coincidentally find out I was really not aware of that. I never did this, I think. So today is the 3 days of not 3 days, 3 years of me running this channel and trying to make something out of it. So 3 whole years I've been wasting a lot of my not wasting I've been spending a lot of my free time talking about games, filming, painting videos, and all bunch of different stuff. So tonight I decided that I will talk with you to you about how this channel started, why it started, and all that. So uh, just basically I'll be rambling for about an hour and a half, depending how much strength I have, because I'm kind of a little bit sleepy. But hey, it's my second birthday, so to say. So yeah. By the way, while I will be talking, I will be doing some other stuff. So you saw already I was painting all these Warcry miniatures, and I really hooked up on a Warcry. It is really an awesome. It is basically, it is not a board game, but not a miniature game. It's really weird. It doesn't fall anywhere. So what I will be doing is, I was just looking. I will be assembling my warband for Gloomspite Gits. So I have this box of. Wait, let me just remove the. Oh my god, it's like super shining. So I've got these squig hoppers that I need to assemble. I already assembled some goblins, and yeah, I will be talking about how this channel came to life and all that. And while I will be doing that, I will be also using this little rule, not a rule book, but this just explains you how to assemble the miniatures, and it looks kind of a little bit complicated. So I just might just assemble one in one complete hour. I'm really not sure how that will go, but we'll see. So, is some of you know, some of you maybe don't. The board game, not the board game, the miniatures come on these sprues, and you have to clip them off and paint them together, and glue them together so you can paint them afterwards. And I have those two, and I have these two also. So these are just basically various parts of these squigs that you can assemble either way you want. I think that you can assemble them either way you want. I have to check it out, but from what I see, I think I know how everything works. But hey, we have the little rule book for that. And yeah, so I will be assembling. Wait, so let me quickly show you what I will be assembling. I will be assembling these guys, and it's really you didn't really see that, right? Let me just try and block some light a little bit, maybe like so. No, okay. This is really weird. It is super hard, but yeah, basically those quigs with some poking thingies, and we'll see how that will work. So let's start with it. And while we do that, we are going to talk about how this channel came to be, how it came to life. So everything started. Sit around, children. The story is about to start. And yeah, wait, let me just remove this, and I need clippers, and they are over here. So you have to have some tools to assemble miniatures, some trusty tools. So yeah, how this channel came to life. Well, the idea behind the channel was, first and foremost, uh, before I even got into board gaming, I was a huge fan of airsoft. I was in an airsoft for, I think, 5 solid years. Every Sunday morning we would gather and shoot at each other with plastic little balls, little beads. Not sure how to. I'm sure you maybe know what the airsoft is. If you don't, Google it. It will be much easier than me explaining, because me explaining things in English is okay. Wait. Yeah. So I'm making a lot of noise, and will probably wake up the baby, which I'm really trying not to wake up. And I just broke a part of the terrain, which I'm really not sure how did it even broke. Okay, this is super crazy. Wait. Okay, so you have this terrain for the war cry, and this thing just fell off, and it didn't fall off, it glued off. Okay, so it was glued. Okay, then I can just re-glue it and everything will be as perfect as it was. Okay, that makes more sense, because it just broke off like nothing happened, like super easy, and that was like really weird. So yeah, I was in an airsoft. It is. I mean, I had lots of hobbies through my life, but the airsoft and board games were two hobbies that I like the most from all of them. So yeah, I was in an airsoft. We were shooting at each other's with guns that look really realistic, but are not real, of course, because then I would not be talking to you right now. Yeah, I would probably be dead. Uh, and it was fun. It was a great guys. Some of them that I met at the airsoft, I'm still in touch with. I'm not in an airsoft for I don't know, like how many years. Don't glue your fingers, says Grumpy Guy Gaming. I will try not to, but you know the best what I'm messing with. So yeah, if you didn't, let me do a little plug-in for the guy that just left the comment. He also has the channel, but it is more miniature based. It's not like too much on the board game side, and he does some great paint stuff, even though he doesn't film it that much, and I think he should really do that. But yeah, I was in an airsoft, and then I don't know. We kind of it was a cool bunch of people. As I already told you, some of them that I met there, I'm still in touch with. One of them was my best man at my wedding, and I was the best man at his wedding. So we are like best man, best everything. And the person behind me is my wife. So don't be afraid. I know nobody is robbing me. Just in case somebody says there's a robber behind you. No, there is not. Okay, I just clipped a random thing without looking. Wait. I need more room. We need a bigger table. So yeah, and then somehow I transferred. You're at work, man. Oh man, so sorry. Wish you all the luck with the work. Don't glue your fingers. uh, so yeah, thank you for dropping by. And then, kind of, me and my best man, we were like, oh man, I want to paint some miniatures and all that. And then we started to research what to paint, because I didn't want to paint the ships and the airplanes and stuff like that. Even though I always had some interest in models, I even bought one model of an airplane, a Eurofighter 2000, I think, and I glued him together. I was never thinking about painting it, and then I decided that I will hang him on my ceiling. So when guys come to my room, there's a plane hanging on my ceiling, and I didn't glue it very well to the ceiling, so it fell and broke completely into pieces. But I still had some interest in it, in these models and everything, all that. So we decided to buy some Battle for Skull Pass, that was called. There were like some dwarves and some goblins, and we decided we want to buy that, and we are going to assemble it and paint it. We bought some paints and everything, and then he was researching it a little bit more, much more than I was just painting them, the dwarves. He took the goblins. And then he one day he rang me and he says, man, do you know there's a game behind these miniatures, so you can play really a game. It's like a board game of something. And in those days we were playing a lot of Carcassonne and Catan, games like that. So, and I was like, what, there's game there? I was not aware of that. And yeah, so we I'm going to constantly stop and start talking, but I'm searching for a thing that I cannot find anywhere. It is number. Okay, I found it. Okay, so yeah, what happened? So yeah, we tried to play the game, and it was super fun. And somehow that game of Warhammer led us to the board games, because then I started to research on the internet if I didn't know about this, what else is hiding there. Uh, I got Carcassonne for one birthday from my friends, and we played it a lot. Carcassonne was my like intro game to the board gaming. But these miniatures started everything. So yeah, we decided that we want to explore some. I decided I want to explore some more, and then I found this beautiful site called Board Game Geek. And when I say beautiful, I don't mean visually. Visually, it's not, but they had so much data on so many games that I was completely destroyed by it. I think it was like, what? There's all these games that were kept secret from me. And so it started, the board game hobby. And as the time went by, I kind of grew out of airsoft. I was not really that much into it. Not that anybody was there that I didn't like, maybe, or something like that. I mean, there's always people you won't like in every hobby you have. At least there it was like for me. But most of the time, people are really cool, and there's really no that. The troublemakers usually just live on their own. So yeah, and I don't know how to connect this thing. Okay, so I have this thing here, and I'm trying to connect it, but it doesn't fit in any shape or form. Oh, okay, so I flipped it on the wrong side. So yeah, uh, what was I talking about last? Yeah, the board games and everything. So I kind of stray away from all that airsoft stuff and all that, and started to explore more of these weird things called board games. And it was like completely new world for me, and I really like it. We started buying games like crazy. I mean, not like 6 games out of one uh, buy, but we bought a few games, some of them without the research. Those were the days when you were just looking for a pretty box, and you would bought it without even at least a little bit looking, searching and seeing what is the game about, and is it something that you would like. It was just like, oh, this looks pretty, I'm gonna buy it. And then you would uh, then you would come to a realization that it's a really bad game. But yeah, it was it was really weird times. I mean, fun times, but really weird. So what we did, we bought a few games, we played them, then we got some new games, then we played those games. I'm searching for number 3, leg, and I cannot find it anywhere. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, and then we discovered also that there are board games with miniatures. So now you don't have to play necessarily Warhammer only. If you want to have some miniatures, you can play Dungeons and Dragons game called, what is it called? Oh my god, I forgot the name. It has that. I'm sorry, bumping the mic. That's usual for me. Um, the game. What was the name of the game? Dungeon. What? Dungeon something. Basically, we are going to you explore the dungeons. It is cooperative game, so I'm not talking about Descent. Descent came way later, when I discovered it first. Uh, yeah. So we were. Now I really want to know what's the name of the game. It's really stuck in my head, and I will probably not continue until I can remember what it was. So let me just check what I did glue up here. Okay, so I glued legs, and I now need to glue them to the base. The game was called Dungeons. I think it was called Dungeons and Dragons, and then it had some word, Legends of Drizzt, something like that. I'm not really sure. And it was. I just got a message on my mobile phone, and I think that it's probably one of those. You are live on YouTube. I mean, I know. I see myself right over there, talking to you. Of course. Where is my phone? I cannot find it anywhere. Okay, I'll be back in a second. So yeah, I am live, says YouTube, and my Gmail, which is super weird. Okay, so I got one part done. It is basically just legs, and this guy is hopping. So we have two of these guys. He says there's two times one A and B, which I find super weird because I don't have number ones. Each of these brew has numbers for each component, so you know which one you have to take. But I think I can probably glue them however I want. Maybe. Probably maybe. I don't know. Let me just quickly take a peek. Okay, so oh yeah, we have a double 22 1. Okay, so these sprues are the same. Yeah, they are repeating themselves. What a revelation. Okay, so I can watch it this one, and I know what I have to pluck from this guy over here. So yeah, we started with those Legend of Drizzt stuff like that. It was really fun times because we had some miniatures. We would somehow still play Warhammer, and we played lots of different board games. We met some new guys that play Warhammer, and then we hooked them on a board games, few of those board games. Not like they'd never heard of those. Some of those guys were working in a shop where you could buy board games. That sadly doesn't exist anymore in Osijek. Croatia has very few board game stores, only one in the main city. So most of our stuff we are buying online. And so we started playing all these games and gathering every Friday at my house over here, basically right over there, and we were painting miniatures because at that time I was the only one who was not married. I think no, I was not the only one who was not married, but I had a house for myself, so others were living with their parents or something like that. And yeah, so we painted like a lot of wait, I have to see what I have to clip out. We were painting, we were here every Friday painting miniatures. It was stupid fun, and there was also mishaps with the paint when one of my friends, he forgot to put the lid back on a paint, and these paints you usually need to shake before you use it, and he started shaking it, and it was a green paint, and my kitchen is brown color, brown with white, and then it was brown with white and some green. I think that even today I still here and there find some of that paint, just a few drops of it. It was like it was super funny. He was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry," and everything. I was like, "Nah, it's okay. It's just paint. It'll probably come off because these paints are acrylic paints. They are based on a water, so you just need a warm water and a sponge, and you are good." And so, yeah, we did that for solid year or something. But as this hobby of board games even grew more and more, we started buying more and more board games, just for the reason because when you are into Warhammer, you have to find like a same bunch of of more than one people that are interested in that, and they need like to have, I don't know what, $500 or whatever money you want me to talk about, to buy all the miniatures and play the game with you. And the board games gave you miniatures, and you could play it with one, two, three, four, five, how many ever people you want. How the game did, how the game, what's the word? Lets you. You know, I'm kind of a little bit tired, so yeah. Also, one thing why I'm assembling these, I'm assembling them because tomorrow it should be like an okay day for spraying the miniatures white, so I can paint them for you. Maybe next week, we'll see. Maybe even tomorrow night. Who knows? Anything can happen. But let's start with the talking. Yeah, what I was rambling about. I was rambling about where. Yeah. So you get all that in the board games, everything, and you would only need to spend like a fraction of money that you would need to have all these miniatures. That's why I like Warcry. You really don't need much. You can, for like, I don't know, $20 have everything you want for the game. Depending, of course, there are some of these war bands are more expensive than others to assemble. But overall, it is what it is. It is really not that expensive of a game to collect and to play. So yeah, the next thing that we started playing, and I cannot find it for the love of me. Where is number 6? Oh, here it is. So we started playing more and more board games and less war games, these miniatures war games, because as I already mentioned for 100th time, it was much cheaper. Then we discovered the card games like Android Netrunner, those two-player card games. Then we had game nights centered around those and not about miniatures. We were playing X-Wing. When we discovered X-Wing, it was like, what? And we spent a gazillion of money on X-Wing. But then I sold everything because X-Wing had the same problem. You have to buy a lot of stuff so you can play with somebody, because if you play alone, that's not that. So let me just quickly see which number. Buddy number 5. But I think all these buddies are the same, but I will not explore that right now because I need to talk to you, and I cannot do with this and talk to you without some dead air. I would probably shut up and just not talk. So yeah, we found all that, but I kind of cooled off super fast of X-Wing. I mean, I love it. I would still gladly play it, even though not so often, because nowadays you have a gazillion different cards and combinations that you can play the game with, and you just don't know what to take. So I'm still kind of stuck in those old lists with Luke Skywalker with R2D2 in it. It gives you a lot of survivability. So yeah, and then after playing a lot of board games, I started to have more and more interest in them. Like, I was interested already, but then I started seriously exploring the new stuff, following the news. I discovered the Dice Tower, which I was a little bit part of, but now I'm not because of the baby and everything. I cannot film as regular as I would like, but that will probably change as soon as he's a little bit older. Then as soon as Slaven stops traveling for work, then we'll maybe film some more of Iron Gang and all those guys that I know you want to see some more of, but it is what it is. It is just a time issue that we have to work on. And yeah, this one doesn't want to glue on a base. So yeah, I discovered the Dice Tower, and Rado runs through, even though I don't watch him anymore. I personally don't like his styles of the videos. He's a great guy. I met him in Essen. Don't think I don't like the guy, that I'm bashing him. There are people that really don't like my videos, for example. So yeah, I'm not really fan of his videos, the style as he do them, but overall, I think he's a really cool dude. And yeah, I started watching lots of those videos, and now I was researching the games even more. So I was spending some serious money on board games those days. And then few years later, we need to skip a few years because I could go like this forever, and I plan on doing this stream for an hour, not more. And the baby is crying. I think he had a bad dream or something. Probably. My wife will call me if it's something bad, so I just might leave for a second or two. Yeah, so as the years passed by, we were buying games, lots of games, constantly playing new games, new stuff, expansions, everything we could get our hands on. And then I met my wife, and we were still, of course, I didn't met her, and she was my wife right away. I met her, and she was kind of into board games, which I found very interesting. And I was like, what kind of board games you like? Completely expecting that she will told me that she likes like oh, I like Monopoly and stuff like that. But it turned out that she was playing that game when you are a vampire. Okay, so baby is really crying. I'm just going to check out what it is. Sorry. Nice face cam. Thank you. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, sorry for that dead air. So these are the joys of having the baby. So we will have to have this video in part 1 and part 2 because he has a little bit of cold and now his nostrils are clogged and we have to unclog it. So I will just stop the stream and start in like 20 minutes maybe or so, as soon as we vacuum those boogers out of his nose. So stay tuned and I'll be back in like say 15-20 minutes.